Hi everyone, welcome back to Law School Gems with Bria. My name is Bria Riley. I am the founder of Law School Gems. I am so excited to be here with you today. A little bit about me. I am in-house counsel practicing in Dallas, Texas for a publicly traded company, working in their marketing and advertising and legal group. Today we are going to be talking about class notes, but before we dive in, I just wanted to affirm you, and again, thank you for being here. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here today. Remember to take your time. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Remember to be patient with yourself and to be kind. Remember to lead with light and love, and whatever you may be going through, always remember your why, and when you confront challenges, always go back to that why. Stay prayed up, keep your faith, and you will get through this. I got your back. We're going on this journey together, so let's get started.
We are born to win. Come and learn the basics with Law School Gems.
Class notes. Class notes are the information that you are going to be transcribing that your professor is giving to you in class as they are discussing your cases, as they are talking about different doctrines of law, as they are going through the course syllabi, right? It is the information that you are going to be synthesizing from what your professors are giving you and then condensing that and putting that in your notebook or putting it in your laptop in your class notes for that class if you're an intangible person and you work in a digital space. Those are what your class notes are made for. If you are a tangible person, meaning you have to feel it, you have to see it, you have to touch it in order for it to feel real or to be real for you, make sure that you keep all of your class notes in a notebook dedicated specifically for that class, right? And try to color coordinate that notebook to that class so you know that red means torts, or blue means property, or green means contracts. So do that if you are a tangible person. The pro to being a handwriter when it comes to class notes or taking notes in class, right? The pro to that is that statistically you are synthesizing more information because you cannot write as fast as your professor is talking. So you're really having to take glimpses of what your professor is saying, paraphrase it in a way that makes sense to you, and put that down in your class notes in your notebook so that way you can go back to it and remember it for later or help you retain that information. And that actually shows to be more beneficial for you. The con, however, is that sometimes because you can't write as fast as your professor may be speaking, you may miss a lot of information or important information that you can't jot down in time, right? But there are ways to get around that as well. So maybe you go back during office hours and you ask your professor to clarify something, or maybe you stay after class or before class to get that clarity. Maybe you stop by a study group and you ask other students what they heard or what information they were able to pick up, especially if they are typewriting their notes. But statistically, like I said before, if you are handwriting your notes, it's causing you to synthesize the information better, and it's making for better study habits for you. Now, if you are an intangible person, meaning you're someone who likes to type, you're someone who likes to take notes in a digital landscape on your laptop, etc., that's totally okay. I was the same way when I was in law school. I thought that, hey, I don't want to miss anything, and I'm a fast typer, so I could go back and synthesize the information later when I was making my class outlines or my study aids for that course, and that's totally fine too. Now, if you are typing your notes out for your class, the con to that is that you are less likely to synthesize the information because if you're a fast typer, like your girl over here, you're going to be typing as quickly as your professor is talking, meaning you're just transcribing that information. You're not having to synthesize, paraphrase, or condense it. So it's not really helping you learn as much, but I didn't find that to be the case for me. I know that's what the stats say, honey. I'm here to tell you I broke the stats, okay? So if you want to type out your notes, that is totally fine and totally okay. And just make sure that when you're going back later to do your course outlines or your study aids, that you're paying attention to that and that you're only synthesizing or transferring over condensed information of what is most important and in a way that it makes sense to you, right? Because that's what all of this is for. You want to take notes in a way that makes sense for you, that's going to be good for you to go back and later access the information. Will it be accessible? You know, you want it to be useful. You want it to be something that you can use and that'll help you retain information for your midterms, for your final exams, and for future bar prep, because all of these classes that you're taking your first semester of law school or your doctrinal courses that you will also be studying for on the bar exam. So these class notes are going to benefit you long into the future as well. So make sure you take good ones. If you are an intangible person, making sure that when you are typing your notes that you are saving them in a folder for that class on your laptop is going to be extremely important. When it was me and I was in law school, I would break it up by the day as well. So I would save the class notes under a certain day, and I would talk about, maybe put in the name folder for that folder, what we talked about that day or what the topic was per the course syllabi. Very, very important, and it helped me stay organized. It also helped me to organize my outline later when I had to go back and pull notes from older material that I hadn't touched in a while, right? It made it very accessible and very organized for me. Goes right back to our organization piece that we spoke about in the first 2 videos. Got to get organized. So making sure that you were doing that if you were an intangible note taker is very important, and it will behoove you throughout your first semester of law school. Now, most importantly, when you are taking notes, do so in a way that makes sense not just for you, but in the way that your professor instructs you. When you're in law school and you're taking those first semester courses, my property professor once told us it's like dating, right? It's like having different boyfriends or different girlfriends or whatever your pleasure is, and you got to satisfy each one. Each one is going to ask of something different from you, and in order to satisfy them, you got to deliver. It's the same thing with your professors. Each professor is going to have a different way that they want you to take notes, that they want you to brief for their class, that they want you to prepare for their exams, that they want you to write their exams. All of that, you have to take all of that into account, and especially when you are writing out your class notes or if you're typing them as well. Very important that you are catering to your audience. Your audience in that instance is the professor for that course, because they're the ones giving you your grade. So don't miss out on that. Make sure you're paying attention to that. And if you're ever confused or need clarity on what's the proper way to take notes, what's the proper way to study for this course, what's the proper way to brief a case, etc., just ask your professor. Don't be afraid to ask. And don't be afraid to also ask your counterparts as well, your students, your other students that are in that class with you. However, just know that they may just be as lost as you are. So rather than the blind leading the blind, it doesn't hurt to just ask the question. Finally, the professor, in speaking to you in class and as you're writing your class notes or typing them out, they're going to give you insight into how they want their course exams written. Specifically, if they have written course exams, they're going to tell you what language to use, what's important to them, what elements they want you to consider, how they want you to prepare that legal writing outline, right? When you're about to go into preparing to write for your legal exam, they're going to give you insight into how to do that. So it's very important that you tune into that. And like I said, it doesn't hurt to ask the question. Now, if there's anything else about class notes that I did not touch on in this video that you would like further information about, please feel free to drop it in the comments below. I will be sure to respond, or at the very least, upload another video to give you some supplemental information or some supplemental resources, tools, and tips. Also, feel free to subscribe to this channel so you get notified every time that I upload a new video. Like it and share it with a friend, specifically someone who is in their first semester of law school or who is considering law school, as this will be very beneficial to them. Even someone further along in their law school journey, they could still pick up some gems along the way. Thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to being with you guys next week, dropping more law school gems. We got some great stuff coming. Also, thank you so much for watching until the very end. It really helps me to continue to grow this channel so I can continue to bring content to all of you guys. As always, stay blessed, and until next time, bye guys.